Hi, I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design, and this is my Blackfly 2 stove. Today I'm going to cook some dinner with it. I've got 4 fiberglass wicks that come with the stove, and I've just filled it with methanol alcohol, air brake antifreeze, tinted with green food coloring. And whether you can see it or not, I guess you can't, but it's starting to pick up the alcohol. And in just a little while here, those will all be soaked down with alcohol. You want to make sure they're well soaked with alcohol before you light them. Okay, those are wet. We'll light it. I've got 2 cups of water in a hiney pot. And we'll let that get going, and then I'll turn the camera back on again. This is a shot looking upward at the flame pattern using the fiberglass wick supplied with the stove and 90% pure methanol. You can see it gives a good flame pattern that just covers the concave part of the pot and doesn't spill up around the edges. And this will give a boil on cold water, 2 cups of cold water, in about 10 to 13 minutes, depending on a lot of different conditions. The fiberglass wicks work very well, but don't let the fuel run out. When the fuel starts getting low, blow it out and refill it, because if you let these run out of fuel, they'll melt and get all stiff and they won't be any good to you anymore. Okay, we've got a good boil. Okay, now let's go to the finer points of the Blackfly 2 stove. You can see these fiberglass wicks that come with it produce a nice hard boil. So a lot of people have tried different kinds of wicks, and I suspect that if anybody's having problems with these fiberglass wicks, it's obviously not due to the wicks, because you can see they work just fine. But different fuels in different situations, these wicks may not perform the same as they do here in my shop. So this will all play itself out on the blog eventually. But for most cases, these fiberglass wicks work fine. You just have to take care of them and don't let them run out of fuel. Now, to the finer points. I've got a thermometer in here, and you can see I've got it set right in around the windscreen with a Bic lighter, and you can see it's hardly even registering. You know, the temperature in there is probably maybe 100 degrees or less. Now, here's the deal. Here's my windscreen, and you see how I've got it set up? I don't run it much tighter than that. If you take this windscreen and close it right up so that there is no opening on it, this stove will overheat and start venting out the base of the cap. The reason for that is the air will be trapped and it'll overheat. Now, as far as numbers go, this water, when it reaches 130 degrees, that means the alcohol will be at 130 degrees, and that alcohol will start boiling at 130. Just almost exactly 130 degrees. So if you put this around here tight, and the air inside here builds up to 130 degrees, this black finish will absorb the heat, because the heat outside will be greater than the heat inside, so the heat will travel through the black into the water. On the other hand, if you keep this loose like this, and the air out here is 100, the water inside, if it gets above 100, it will go the other way through the black paint and come out. So this black paint is a double-edged sword, but as long as you keep your windscreen loose, it's to the distinct advantage to have it on there to carry off the heat from the water. Otherwise it will build up. But you can see I don't keep this windscreen in tight, and if you do keep the windscreen in tight, you definitely will overheat the stove. As you can see here, the stove is not venting. It's been running for 15-20 minutes. It burns just fine with the regular fiberglass wicks. You can see what they're set at. These are set at a little over 1/2 inch. Life is good. So the stove will not vent unless it's overheated, and it won't overheat unless you put a windscreen or a reflective surface underneath it or something to hold the heat in. So to make the Black Fly 2 work correctly, keep the windscreen opened up and don't put it on a reflective surface. That should take care of any problems we've had so far. I will monitor the feedback on the blog, and if I see another problem I'll make another video and address it. But so far, as near as I can tell, that should cover everything. And oh, Alan, I looked at Skid Steer's site with his coffee setup, and that container that he cut the top out of and inverted the bowl and put it up into, that's just pure genius. That solves a bunch of problems for me. I think I'm going to do that. And Robert, thanks for the cotton wicks. Hang in there, man. I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design. Get out and hike, and have a great day. Bye-bye. When they